This morning, we're going to hear from the Taoiseach, we're going to hear from the Taoiseach, the Minister for Transport, MetroLink lead, Dr. Sean Sweeney, and representatives from the MetroLink team. But first, to get things underway, let's get an overview of this mega project.
A high-capacity, high-frequency and fully automated railway line running from Estuary in Fingal to Charlemont in Dublin's south side. Welcome to MetroLink. MetroLink is a key component of an integrated transport strategy for the Greater Dublin area and provides bus and rail interchanges at Dublin Airport, Glasnevin, O'Connell Street, Tara Street and Charlemont. Access to key destinations along the route such as Dublin City University, Mater Hospital and Trinity College Dublin will be transformed. The MetroLink route will run from Estuary in North Fingal to Charlemont in Dublin's south side. Much of the 19-kilometre route is underground and utilises a fully automated train service. Both are exciting firsts for Irish public transport. With journey times of 20 minutes from Dublin Airport to O'Connell Street in Dublin city centre, it's a game changer for Dublin. Departing from Estuary Station, the route connects 15 further stations: Seatown, Swords Central, Fosterstown, Dublin Airport, Dardistown, Northwood, Ballymun, Collins Avenue, Griffith Park, Glasnevin, Mater, O'Connell Street, Tara Street, St Stephen's Green and Charlemont. Located on the western side of the R132 and beside the M1 motorway, let's take a closer look at Estuary Station. It includes a multi-storey 3,000 car park and ride, a big bonus for commuters from a wide catchment area. MetroLink stations at surface level have been designed as elegant, low-lying structures, sensitive to their local environments, whilst giving MetroLink a strong presence and identity. The station designs provide visual permeability at street level and a clear and intuitive platform environment for passengers. The Glasnevin MetroLink station is one of the most significant stations on the route. It forms a major transport interchange hub with a new Irish rail station, serving Maynooth, Sligo, Kildare and mainline railways. MetroLink passengers can seamlessly transfer here to bus connects. It has been designed to offer an easy interchange between Irish Rail and MetroLink services. Arriving at street level, passengers can choose to continue through to the Irish Rail platforms or enter the MetroLink underground station below. Interchange between services will also be available below ground, with a combination of escalators and lifts to ensure ease of access for all passengers, including those with mobility needs. Tara Street Station is located adjacent to the existing Irish Rail station in Dublin city centre. It forms a key interchange with commuter and DART rail services, Busaurus, Lewis and a variety of local or national bus connections. Convenient for Trinity College Dublin, Tara Street Station is at the heart of a rapidly developing area of central Dublin. The design of Tara Street introduces a new vibrant public plaza above the station and an opportunity to regenerate and activate the arches below the DART rail lines. MetroLink underground stations are designed to allow passengers to navigate intuitively from street level to platform level through the use of clear sight lines and a simple central circulation route. When possible, natural light is introduced within the station environments to help guide passengers along these routes and through to street level. Full height platform screen doors form an enclosure to the tracks and a physical barrier between the train and the passengers, creating a safe and secure environment for alighting and departing passengers.
On a very important day for MetroLink, will you please welcome to the stage on Taoiseach Micheál Martin TD.
It is a pleasure to be here as we move forward with MetroLink, a critical project for our country. I'd also like to thank Sean McSweeney, MetroLink Programme Director, Peter Walsh of Transport Infrastructure Ireland and Hugh Cregan, National Transport Agency CEO, for the very warm welcome earlier. And I know that later on you will be hearing more from Sean and the leadership team who will deliver the next phase of this project. I also want to acknowledge today the team within Transport Infrastructure Ireland who brought this project this far from its earliest days, particularly Aidan Foley, Chief Engineer Light Rail Network TII, and colleagues. And of course, I would like to welcome everyone from industry, at home and abroad, who have joined us today. Your support and engagement are vital, and your presence here is a clear signal of your interest in Ireland's future. MetroLink is one of the most important developments for our state in modern times. It is not just another infrastructure project. It is a truly transformative investment for the entire country. When we agreed our programme for government earlier this year, we clearly signalled our intention to invest very significantly in infrastructure to support continued economic prosperity. MetroLink is front and centre in this, and I'm very pleased to say that its tangible delivery will commence under this government's leadership. We are putting in place the structures, the people and the funding that will see the transport landscape of the country change and improve immeasurably. It is an ambitious project, but we need this level of ambition if we are to meet our national objectives: continued economic growth, delivery of housing, meeting our climate commitments. We need to think big and act decisively, and that is precisely what we are doing. We now have a record number of people in work, and our population is approaching 5.5 million. Our economy is thriving as a result of our commitment to Europe, our openness to investment and trade, and our continued investment in our economic and social infrastructure. Against a backdrop of geopolitical uncertainty, we will continue to build resilience in our economy. And we know that our continued economic competitiveness depends on improved infrastructure. It is the clear, unambiguous message from every analysis and stakeholder. And that is why this government's focus is so centred on heavy investment in transport, housing, energy and water. We know that the investments we make today will determine the prosperity of tomorrow. Our revised National Development Plan, agreed a number of weeks ago, represents the largest level of investment in the history of the state, with an overall investment of over €275 billion out to 2035. We will support the construction of MetroLink through the Infrastructure, Climate Change and Nature Fund, a fund that aims to ensure continuity and sustainability in public investment throughout the economic cycle. This is a statement of intent, and one that provides assurance that delivery will commence under this government. The funding is now in place. Funding is, however, just one piece of the puzzle. The many industry experts that I've engaged with have made it very clear that the system needs to change, and we are listening. We're absolutely committed to the delivery of critical infrastructure in Ireland. One of the first things we did as a new government was to establish an infrastructure division in the Department of Public Expenditure, with the objective of reforming and unblocking delivery. Through its work, we have brought together public and private leaders to objectively analyse where we're getting it right and where we are getting it wrong. And it is important to acknowledge that we are getting many things right. We are tackling delays in planning through the new Planning Act and increasing the resources available to Coimisiún Pleanála. And we've looked at our governmental processes, we've revised them through the infrastructure guidelines, and we are working to ensure wider uptake of modern methods of construction. But the pace of delivery is still too slow. We're not saying we need to cut corners, but we are saying we need to cut out unnecessary steps, to run things in parallel rather than sequentially, and to change our risk appetite if we are going to reset the dial on driving delivery of major projects that we need as a society and as an economy. That is not to say we take our eyes off the ball in terms of value for money. We expect to see projects brought in on time and on budget, and we will still spend time in the planning phase of projects, setting them up for success in that regard. But we do need to make the system work faster and better overall. Efficiency is key. The cost of delay and inaction on a project as strategically important as the MetroLink goes beyond the financial costs. It is the cost to the country's welfare. It is the economic development foregone, fewer low-carbon journeys taken, and constraints on housing delivery. I want this government's legacy to be one of a step change in the delivery of infrastructure to match our growing economy and population. The immediate priority for government is to substantially increase housing supply over the coming years. And this will necessitate genuine cross-government effort. Delivery at the scale now needed is highly dependent on transport-oriented development. MetroLink will directly support the delivery of almost 32,000 additional housing units along its route and enable delivery of many more as we increase zoning and servicing of land under our new housing plan to be published shortly. An undertaking of this scale will need expertise, skills and investment from Ireland and overseas. We are eager to learn from the best practices of other jurisdictions. I know Sean has long experience of delivering transport projects in Australia, New Zealand and the United States. We acknowledge and value his expertise and that of his colleagues. And all of you here this morning also have knowledge and practice to contribute and to put your stamp on the Ireland of the future. Exactly a century ago, in the autumn of 1925, work was commencing on the Shannon Scheme power plant at Ardnacrusha. And that project was built with a combination of Irish and European labour and expertise. Once built, it was the largest hydroelectric plant in the world. For several decades, it provided most of Ireland's electricity needs and was a foundation for rural electrification. Things have certainly changed since the 1920s, but I like to think that what hasn't changed is our appetite to approach the future with confidence and ambition, and to allow experts from around the world help us to fulfil our responsibility to invest for the generations to come. Ventures of this magnitude can be daunting, but we are excited by this project. We're energized by its potential and by the opportunity that it will bring. I know that you have a busy day ahead, and we're here today to demonstrate the government's strong commitment to MetroLink, the future that we see it enabling, and the role that we know you will play in constructing that future. I find it hard to envisage Dublin or Ireland in the future without a successful MetroLink providing the backbone of a modern transport system. Now that Ireland has the resources available to us, we must seize the opportunity to deliver this transformative investment. I believe that commitment will extend beyond the government and across the political spectrum, given MetroLink's central role in our economic, social and environmental future. I look forward to seeing the tangible development over the next few years. This government will be here to provide the support you need with this project moving forward. Guim gachra gachéine elohir anuv will buntach lesh an togrisho. Got a mila mahagavigus gan eroig and taliv galer.
Thank you very much to the Taoiseach for that very clear statement of intent and of commitment. It's clear that there is full governmental support for MetroLink from what the Taoiseach is saying. As if it isn't clear, I'm pleased to double down on that. Will you please welcome on Taoiseach Simon Harris TD.
Céad Míle Fáilte, as we say here in Ireland, 100,000 welcomes, and thank you so much for being with us here in Dublin today. It's a pleasure, of course, to welcome representatives from overseas, as well as from many Irish organisations from across this country. We're so pleased that you're all here, and I'd like to sincerely thank Dr. Sean Sweeney and the MetroLink team for their incredible work in organising this important event. I know you have a very full programme ahead of you today, and I hope it gives everyone here a chance to understand MetroLink, what the Irish government is hoping to achieve from it, and the various opportunities, both big and small, to take part in this truly transformative project. Globally, it's clear we're in a challenging economic period. Structural changes, cyclical economic changes underway. But this government, the Government of Ireland, is clear that as part of our response to these changes, we now need to invest, and invest heavily in our public capital stock, particularly in key infrastructure sectors like transport, like energy, and like water. When it comes to transport, MetroLink is a key part of our response. The economic benefits from investing in MetroLink are enormous, quantifiable, and will absolutely stand to this country for generations to come. MetroLink will open up a new high-capacity transport corridor through North Dublin. It will improve employment opportunities with around 250,000 jobs in easy walking distance of the route. It will create a new public transport link between 127 schools and higher level institutions like DCU here today and Trinity in town, and it will make access to healthcare easier by connecting our hospitals across our capital city. But this new transport corridor has international and national benefits. International in terms of the access it will provide to the airport. Access, no doubt, some of our international visitors would have welcomed today, and indeed national in terms of the linkages to our wider public transport network. The economic benefits of this project stand up to robust scrutiny. This is a project that will deliver for the taxpayer, and it will deliver for this country as a whole. In July, we published our National Summer Economic Statement, and this is a statement that sets out the government's approach to adopting in its response to the wider geopolitical challenges that I've already mentioned. Another part of Ireland's response to those challenges is looking at our economic competitiveness in a new action plan that will be published in the coming months. We want to look at how we can remain an attractive business location. No one owes this country a living. We can never, ever be complacent. And an important aspect of that attraction, of making sure Ireland remains attractive to those who wish to invest in our country and create jobs in our country, is ensuring that we tackle congestion in our major urban centres and improve quality of life for residents through the provision of fast, safe, affordable public transport. The economic cost of congestion is well documented. In fact, it's forecasted to be around €1.5 billion per annum by 2040 in Dublin alone. MetroLink has a key role in terms of the overall package of measures that we need to put in place to tackle that drag on our competitiveness, while its high capacity provides a much-needed boost in terms of accessibility to the airport, which, along with our port, is our gateway to the world and so vital for a small, open economy such as our own. Now, some of you here might quite fairly say, well, you've got all these great ambitions, but can you actually get things done? And I think an important part of that answer is, of course, certainty of funding and a pipeline of projects. As a government, we're looking to provide that certainty through the allocations that we already announced as part of our National Development Plan review this summer. Another part of that answer, though, is going to be tackling the blockages that can get in the way of timely infrastructure delivery. And the Taoiseach has already mentioned the work that is now underway in relation to that. And alongside this investment in our capital stock, I want you to know this: we're going to continue to invest in the greatest resource that we have in this country, and that is our people. In 2021, as Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, I was honoured to create a new apprenticeship action plan for Ireland. A plan to ensure that we have a modern apprenticeship system that is reflective of Irish society and supports both learners and employers along the way. We set a very ambitious target of wanting 10,000 new apprentices every year by the end of 2025, and I'm pleased to say that by the end of last year, we'd almost reached that target already, with more than 9,000 new registrations at the end of 2024. Crucially, for the purpose of this conversation, more than 5,000 of those who registered last year are in construction programmes, and more than 800 on top of that are in construction-related programmes. Through the National Development Plan, we're going to be investing even more in further and higher education over the next 5 years, with capital allocations increasing by almost 60% as compared to the last 5-year period. This is how you future-proof Ireland. MetroLink is going to be a fantastic project to attract young people into the skilled construction sector and to equip them with the experiences that are going to stand to them and stand to Ireland for many years to come. For those of you with us today from outside of Ireland, when we talk about ambitious projects, you may often hear us speaking about the building of the Ardnacrusha power plant in the 1920s, which I just heard the Taoiseach reference, a time when Ireland was still in the early days of our independence. Many doubted the country could ever do it. It was a project that the whole of government got behind. It was a true whole of government endeavour. It required government to think of long-term benefits, to introduce new ways of working, to introduce new ways of thinking, and it challenged everybody to rise to the occasion. And importantly, crucially, it delivered massive benefits for this country that far outweighed the significant cost of construction. I genuinely believe MetroLink is the same. It speaks to our government and our country's ambition to deliver big transformative projects that will benefit Ireland and make this country an even better place in which to live, work and invest. So as you sit here today in the Helix in DCU in Dublin, I hope you get a sense of the Irish Government's support for this project. We want to be absolutely clear in relation to that. We have the ambition, we have the funding, and in MetroLink, we have the project. We welcome your interest in helping us achieve our ambition. And together, the state and the private sector will, in partnership, deliver MetroLink. Gurv Míle Mágaibh, thank you very much.
Good morning and thank you for attending today's MetroLink Market Engagement event. As you can see, we're recording this message here at Dublin Airport. This is the very spot between Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 where the MetroLink station will be located. MetroLink represents a strategic and transformative piece of low-carbon public transport infrastructure that will hugely improve Ireland's economic competitiveness. This critical piece of infrastructure will vastly increase accessibility to the airport, which is the 5th largest international hub in Europe with over 33 million passengers passing through last year. By enhancing local, regional and international connectivity, MetroLink will unlock the potential of 95 square kilometres of land, paving the way for thousands of high-priority new homes. The Government of Ireland recognises the importance of MetroLink. The recently concluded review of the National Development Plan allocated funding specifically to move MetroLink from planning and into construction. A key focus is ensuring the taxpayer receives value for money, and an important component will be the competitive tendering process. We're putting in place the right leadership team, the right governance structures and the right funding model to set us up for success. In order to deliver MetroLink efficiently, it will be vital that we tap into your specialist knowledge, and the MetroLink team are ready to engage directly with you. My department is looking at a design and tender fee scheme which would see a certain cap percentage of bid costs reimbursed to unsuccessful compliant bids. Crucially, it will provide the people of Ireland with more frequent, reliable and efficient access to education, to healthcare and employment opportunities. MetroLink will not simply be another major transport project. It will be a linchpin in our future transport network. It will connect our existing bus, rail and Luas lines to create a truly integrated and interconnected transport system. When this government was formed, we made it clear that we want to be a government of delivery. Together, we will deliver MetroLink for Ireland. I look forward to working with you as we start to work on this project on the ground. Thank you.
Our next speaker leads the delivery of Ireland's first transport mega project, MetroLink. He brings to this role more than 30 years of international experience in planning, in procurement and in the delivery of complex infrastructure. Most recently, he was responsible for the delivery of the City Rail Link in Auckland, New Zealand, which was the largest infrastructure project in that country's history. His career has also included senior leadership roles as Executive Director for major projects in Australia and as CEO of Justice Infrastructure in New South Wales. He is a New Zealand native, but has proud family roots in County Mayo. He's recognised globally for his strategic vision and technical excellence, and throughout his career, he has made clear his commitment to innovation and to community-centred collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the leader of MetroLink Programme Director, Dr. Sean Sweeney.
Taoiseach, Tánaiste, DCU President, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us today for what is a landmark moment for MetroLink. It is indeed a real pleasure to be here and to speak not just about a transport project, but about something far bigger. MetroLink is Ireland's first ever metro system. It's real, it's happening, and believe me, it's going to change everything. MetroLink is Ireland's first fully automated, high-capacity metro system. It's designed to transform public transport in the city. As you've already heard, spanning 19 kilometres, it will connect Swords in the north to Charlemont in the south, via Dublin Airport and the city centre. This innovative and vital program is not just a cornerstone of Ireland's climate and mobility goals, supporting economic growth, urban connectivity and renewal, it is so much more. It's a direct investment in Ireland's domestic economy, stimulating growth, enabling development and upskilling Ireland's workforce. It will offer new business opportunities for a wide range of organisations, from large international firms, some of them represented here, to locally based small and medium-sized enterprises, right down to local shopkeepers selling newspapers, coffees, and of course, breakfast rolls. While people might focus on the disruption, it does need to be emphasised that the program will put millions of euros into the local economy and areas around each construction site. MetroLink will also support thousands of direct construction jobs, probably more than we realise, in each year of construction activity, and probably a similar amount in the indirect supply chain and supported related roles each year. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, not just for Ireland, but for everyone who steps forward to be part of it. And let's be very clear about what we're doing here. This is not just about laying tracks and building stations. This really is about nation building in its purest form. We're building confidence, we're building capacity, we're building a better connected, better performing capital city and country. And we're doing it in a way that finally says, we're here today to show that Ireland is serious about its infrastructure pipeline. We are mobilising for delivery and we are open for business. And I'd really like to thank the Taoiseach, the Tánaiste and the Minister for their time, their words and their support. Since we last engaged with the market, a lot has changed. We've made a lot of progress, and that's why we're here today. We've developed a design and tender fee scheme, as you heard, for the M400 and M500 contracts, which has been submitted for final approval to government. This is designed to ensure bid costs are recognised, the conditions and payments clearly set out in the tender documents, and importantly, the National Transport Authority and Transport Infrastructure Ireland will have full authority to make all the necessary contractual decisions and payments. I want to particularly acknowledge and thank the market for the expertise and resource you bring to this process. We cannot stress enough, your engagement is critical. As you've heard from the Taoiseach, the Tánaiste and the Minister, the Government has explicitly underlined its commitment to MetroLink through the National Development Plan, ensuring the project is funded, prioritised and supported at the highest levels. This provides us with the clarity and confidence for the market as we move forward. In the past 12 months, in order to deliver MetroLink, we've assembled a world-class executive team tasked with delivering a world-class metro system. On any mega project like MetroLink, it's vital to have a knowledgeable and experienced client. And a big change since last year is we've now formed a team with the required experience and background to act as a strong, competent counterparty to you. Let me introduce to you the MetroLink team on screen. Many of you will know members of the team. This is a team with over 250 years of combined experience in large metro projects and global mega projects. We are here with the single goal of working with you to deliver this generational program. The full MetroLink executive team and wider program team are ready to engage with you after this presentation today. Together with the skills in this room, we will deliver this once-in-a-generation program. Dublin is already one of Europe's fastest growing cities, with over 1.2 million people currently living in the greater Dublin area and more arriving every year. The demand for efficient, sustainable transport is immense. And what's even more important than this, the public's behind us. The people in Ireland really want MetroLink. They're excited about it. Let's take a look at some incredibly encouraging statistics from a recent Red C survey we carried out. The first reveals over 3 million adults in Ireland are in favour of a high-capacity metro. In addition, 2.3 million say that MetroLink would make them choose public transport. That's transformative for public transport and for sustainability. The survey also identified that 82% of the people in the metro catchment area, that's 4 out of 5 residents, would use metro instead of a car. These Red C survey results substantiate the appetite for MetroLink here, and we all know from global experience, once you build a metro, people love it. It changes cities, how people move, how they grow, and how people live. We're on the cusp of that transformation, but we can't do it alone. As I used to say to my team in New Zealand, by ourselves, we build nothing. This is where we need you. So this starts the start of a new conversation with the market. And to those of you who've travelled near and far to be here today, thank you. We want you to be with us. Now, I've worked on a lot of projects in my time, a lot of large projects. I've been involved in projects with some very unfair contractual terms, and they were basically a battle from day one. I've also worked on some projects that have had very fair terms and highly collaborative relationships. What I observed was if you're just churning out a commodity product, something like an apartment block or an industrial warehouse, you can sort of do it any way you want. But we're building legacy here, and if you're building a legacy that you want to be proud of, I know a different approach is required. And I can tell you from my experience, the best project outcomes for everyone and the projects which people enjoy the most are those with fair and equitable contract terms. They're run by a group of people who strive to work together to deliver a great outcome. Now, we want a great outcome for the Government of Ireland, for the people of Ireland, and for you, our contracting partners. We want a relationship built on equity and respect, and that starts right now with this briefing. Ireland is one of the most dynamic economies in Europe. We are politically stable, English-speaking, Eurozone-based, a global hub for tech, pharma, finance, and innovation. We consistently top global rankings for ease of doing business, economic freedom, talent and workforce competitiveness, and socially, Dublin is one of the best cities in Europe to live and work in. It's creative, connected, culturally rich. It's home to world-class universities and global companies. People want to be here. And I don't think I have to tell you, Dublin has changed enormously since Ireland joined the EU. It's now an international city. It's diverse. People from all parts of the globe call Dublin home. But it's growing. Its transport system is under intense pressure. Now imagine giving Dublin a means to scale up, transporting 20,000 people per hour, per direction, getting people from Dublin Airport to city centre in 20 minutes. This is MetroLink.
When filming, this journey from Dublin Airport to O'Connell Street took 62 minutes. Average journey times are often longer due to the traffic congestion in Dublin at peak times. MetroLink journey time is 20 minutes. With the capability to scale up to trains every 90 seconds during peak times and the capacity to scale up to 20,000 passengers per hour in both directions. MetroLink, a game changer for Ireland.
So, we're asking you to consider bidding to be part of the team that delivers the biggest public transport investment in Irish history. We're going to start this conversation as we mean to go on. For the MetroLink program team, safety is a non-negotiable. It's about making sure everyone goes home safe every day. No empty dinner seats at the table, as they say. And we will be wanting all our contractors to share in our Target Zero commitment and make safety a foundation of everything we do. A few years ago, I was in Sydney, and I had for me, which was a bit of a light bulb moment, I was seeing the New South Wales Transport Minister talk, and normally, I've heard a lot of Transport Ministers talk in my career, and normally they talk about metres of motorway or cubes of concrete or how much steel or how many kilometres of rail they're building. And she stood up and she said, my job is to get working people home to their families safer and sooner. And for me, it was a light bulb moment, because that's what MetroLink is all about. That's the purpose. It's more than concrete and steel. It's about a legacy. It's about being part of a turning point in how Ireland moves, grows and competes globally. As I've said before, this is nation building in its purest, just like Ardna Crusher. For generations, the Irish have helped other nations build their dreams, travelling far and wide, engineers, entrepreneurs, dreamers and doers. They've shaped the skylines, delivered the infrastructure and driven progress on every continent. Whenever there was an opportunity, the Irish were never far behind. They worked shoulder to shoulder with international partners, just as many of you in this room will know, proving themselves on the world's most ambitious projects. And I have to say, my father and my uncle were part of that diaspora and worked on many significant projects in Sydney and in New Zealand. And this got brought home to me when I was in New Zealand, and it was just announced that I'd taken on the job at MetroLink. And the next time I went out onto the site on my job, there was literally a queue of young Irishmen who wanted to talk to me about what was the path to get back home, and they wanted to know all about MetroLink. And now for many, MetroLink is that opportunity to come home and apply those skills. I know that. I was speaking to them in Auckland. We're asking you to make that journey with them and make it happen. This is Ireland's moment. If you ask any of the executive team, they will tell you that when you build metros, they are so popular, more metros get built. I've seen this myself. Cities like Sydney, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Madrid, Singapore, Hong Kong, to name a few. It becomes part of the national psyche. The public get behind it. They demand more. The political momentum grows. The skills base strengthens. The whole industry gets better and the pipeline of projects grows and grows. That's where we are today, right at the beginning of the curve. It's happening and we want you on board. Now, we know you have choices. We know you're weighing risk, resources and return. But here's our message to you, loud and clear. MetroLink is worth your interest and worth your involvement. I'm a long way from home because I'm here to deliver this program for Ireland, and I want the best from around the world and Ireland to join me. This is a project that you'll have been proud to be part of, and a legacy that will drive change, building a nation for generations to come. So engage with us, ask the hard questions, challenge us. Let us show you how we're serious about delivery. The executive team and the wider program team look forward to engaging with you at the market engagement session later on. It'll take place on level 1 and 2 once the proceedings conclude here on stage. So let's build something extraordinary together. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to Sean, and I think it's an indication of Sean's commitment to the project that despite his injury, he is here this morning. We're going to hear now from another member of the MetroLink executive team. He was the operations director with the London Underground with over 30 years experience with that organisation, and that included running operations during the 2012 Olympic Games. And during those games, an extraordinary 62 million journeys were made during that time. He led as the reliability director for the Jubilee line, which carried the load for the Olympic venues. His international expertise includes the Dubai Metro and the Baku Metro. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome MetroLink Director of Operations, George McAnulty.
Thank you very much, Anton, and good morning, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be here this morning and to be able to present some key program information to you. So I want to start with a video, an overview of the impact and the scale of MetroLink by the numbers.
MetroLink is the largest transport infrastructure investment in the history of the state. It is going to change everything. Here's how. There will be 16 new stations, including 11 underground. MetroLink seamlessly integrates with Dublin Bus, Irish Rail and Luas services. Unlocks the potential of 95 square kilometres of land, paving the way for the development of thousands upon thousands of high-priority new homes. Drives significant job creation across construction, supply chains and long-term operations. MetroLink connects passengers to 127 schools, 5 hospitals and 3 third-level institutions. Delivers fully electrified, carbon-neutral trains and aligns with Ireland's climate targets, including the radical reduction in the number of car trips. A journey time of only 20 minutes from airport to the heart of Dublin city. With the capability to scale up to trains every 90 seconds during peak times, and a capacity for 20,000 passengers per hour in both directions, there is no stronger alternative. This programme is fully supported by the Government of Ireland. MetroLink is a transformational metro that will help shape Ireland's future, driving growth, connecting communities and building a nation.
This is a transformational metro, a fully automatic underground railway with the capability to scale up to transporting 20,000 passengers per hour, per direction. That won't be day one, it rarely is, but I'm confident that this railway is going to be so popular that we will get there very soon. Sean showed you some Red Sea stats that actually back that up. People want this. And as I've said, MetroLink trains will be fully automatic with a state-of-the-art GOA4 system, driverless. As many of you know, safety with GOA4 has been proven worldwide, and there are currently north of 70 GOA4 railways serving over 40 cities worldwide. Dardistown Station is the home of the new MetroLink depot, as well as the OCC, the Operational Control Centre. MetroLink stations are designed to be inclusive and fully accessible for everybody. They will be step-free with lifts available for wheelchair users, pushchair users, and those with reduced mobility. All passengers will find our stations welcoming and user-friendly. We're working collaboratively with the Dublin Fire Brigade to develop our fire strategy, and actually I'd like to thank them for their input so far. The system will have passenger help points positioned around the stations and trains connected directly to the OCC at Dardistown. That'll be staffed 24/7, 365 days a year. There will be a state-of-the-art CCTV system covering the entire railway, which will also include live CCTV on board trains. Tunnel ventilation, automatic fire detection and extraction fans will be incorporated as part of our overall fire strategy. And we will, of course, have emergency stairs and separate firefighting lift shafts for our emergency services. Doors for evacuation will be at the front and rear of the metro trains. You can see an example on the screen behind me from the blue line on the Mumbai Metro. And as I mentioned, this is a fully automatic train service, but there will also be roving teams on hand for visibility and assistance, in addition to the connected passenger help points and our CCTV coverage. Crucially, MetroLink will be fully integrated with other transport modes in Dublin, including the Lewis, Dublin Bus, Bus Connects, and Irish Rail. And actually, based on the Lewis system, MetroLink will use ungated ticket validation with clear, real-time passenger information and route planning. And the system will operate high-frequency services with the flexibility to respond to demand for major events in Dublin and indeed Ireland. We'll be looking to deliver 99% train service availability and 99% punctuality. That's world-class service, and it's on a par with the best railways in the world. It's equal to systems like Dubai, Singapore, Beijing, and Sydney. And Dublin is a city with a proud history, and I am not just talking about the 6 in a row. Before the Taoiseach spoke to you earlier, we enjoyed a short video overview on how we will establish station identities while remaining sensitive to our local environment. And that means we want to give our stations a sense of place by reflecting the local surroundings and history. And on the screen, you can see some of the key Dublin landmarks that we will draw inspiration from. We want MetroLink stations to be people-focused, accessible, inclusive, step-free, safe and secure, and intuitive to navigate with clear signage and information. We want them to be future-proof. And most of all, centered on a positive passenger experience at all points of the journey. So let's talk tunnels. MetroLink tunnels will be single bore, 8.5 meters in internal diameter, and that's a full 1.5 meters taller than the screen behind me. Massive. Twin track, no side walkway. Now let me give you a bit more about the rolling stock. As I mentioned earlier, fully automatic GOA4, 500 passenger train capacity with an operational speed of 80 kph. Onboard fire detection and suppression systems both inside the saloon and beneath the train. Safe, ergonomic design with accessibility focus and onboard passenger information systems. And we will use communication-based train control, CBTC signaling. It will be controlled by the OCC at Dardistown. And a lot of you will know that this modern type of system eradicates the need for line-side signals, allows trains to carry their protection with them. And this enables them to speed up faster, slow down quicker, and do all that safely and closer together. And I want to meet with all of you at the market engagement sessions later and talk railways, because secretly, I'm a bit of a train spotter. But to finish, I've been doing this job for 40 years, and I've opened new railways, and I've seen how transformational they are. MetroLink will be one of those. It will drive growth, it will connect communities, and it will help build a nation. Thank you.
First, though, we're going to hear from our next speaker, who's a highly experienced engineer and leader in the delivery of major tunnelling and infrastructure projects worldwide. He's held senior roles on some of the world's most complex programmes, including serving as engineering director at HS2, the UK's largest ever infrastructure project, as well as the Doha Metro and Red Line projects. Over his career, he's advised governments, funding bodies and international stakeholders on multi-billion euro schemes across Europe, the Middle East and Asia. He's a chartered engineer and fellow of the Institution of Civil Engineers, and he's recognised by his peers for his ability to combine technical expertise with collaborative leadership. Please welcome the Director of Engineering and Environment for MetroLink, David Hobson.
Good morning. As Sean and George have outlined, MetroLink is Ireland's first ever mega project. To make it more manageable, we're going to break it into various component phases. Our enabling works, the M100 contracts, will clear the way, uncovering and preserving the archaeology, moving the utilities as necessary. M400 will come in and design and construct the civil infrastructure. They will interface with and hand over to M500, who will design, fit out the stations and tunnels, supply the rolling stock, then finance and operate the system. Everything will be interfaced and linked digitally through common design environments and common data environments. In order to maintain a certified system in a regulated industry, we'll be working closely with the Commission for Rail Regulation. This will enable us to get building control certification and the various third-party approvals required to get an operating system of progressive assurance, so that we're not waiting until the end to confirm that everything is right and will be accepted. A major part of this programme is to enable Ireland to achieve their overall objectives with regard to environmental sustainability. We'll be looking at state-of-the-art technology, utilising green fuels, and aiming to reduce the overall carbon content of the scheme. Clearly, this has to be considered at the design stage, through construction and into operations. Therefore, we'll be looking for contributions from all stages to enable us to be carbon neutral by 2050. We recognise that our supply chain will generally be operating best practice systems. It is our ambition that we seek out and implement a next practice approach. This is our opportunity to reshape how Ireland delivers major infrastructure. Our legacy must be to impart ways of working that next infrastructure projects will adopt. As such, we have to consider off-site manufacture, the best way to create new equipment as opposed to trial equipment, modularisation of both onshore and offshore, and we have to embrace new technology over more traditional ways of construction and delivery. And Coimisiún Pleanála has confirmed to the programme team that their final report is with the board. Once approved, we will be issued with a railway order. In practical terms, what does that mean to us? It gives us a legal basis to start work. It defines the overall scope, and it sets limits on how we comply and protect the environment. It enables us to go out and buy land, to work on the utilities and the traffic management, to come up with ways of working and to find the infrastructure that we are building. Alongside the railway order, we are required to get additional consents as we progress through to delivery. As you have heard from previous speakers, there's never been a better time to invest in Ireland. As you can see, though, on the screen, there are many additional requirements specific to Ireland. In all this, we will be working with you to achieve the necessary consents and approvals. As Sean previously remarked, the executive has been appointed based on our previous experience of meeting challenges and delivering major infrastructure projects. We have taken this proactive approach in identifying key risk areas and working with key stakeholders to make sure that they are on board as we go along. A key responsibility when working in Dublin with an evident congestion consideration is to keep the city moving throughout this process. That's what we have to consider, not only with our project, but with other major infrastructure projects that are going at the same time. This is public money that we're spending, and therefore we must have effective cost control. We need to maintain confidence, both from the political and public sectors, as our teams deliver MetroLink. However, we won't deliver unless we are innovative during construction. This can take the form of off-site prefabrication of structures, going modular, and minimising the site works. I'm sure this is business as usual for many of you, but we need to think bigger, bolder, and better. Anton kindly mentioned in my introduction that one of my previous jobs was on HS2. We actually built a number of precast factories. We built offshore and remote from the site. We moved structures in place overnight or over weekends. This is the sort of thinking that we will need to bring to MetroLink to ensure the minimum disruption to our neighbours. Because we have to meet the requirements of the environmental impact assessment, we have to meet our carbon targets, and above all, we have to be good neighbours and keep Dublin moving. We know that this approach presents many challenges, but we know too that they can be solved because we have faced them before. So, can we drive the bridges into place? Can we use a tunnel boring machine and move them around? We believe we can, because our team has done it before. As a medieval city, Dublin has a rich history, and there are many heritage and cultural sites along the route. When we were building Lewis, we uncovered a number of hidden areas and artefacts that had to be protected. To minimise the impact of this and to preserve Dublin's hidden history, we have a framework for the enabling works that specifically manages the archaeology. This guarantees proper investigation before main works commences, preserving the past for future generations. Our approach has been to develop a reference design with the aim of confirming the space requirements for the M400 and M500 packages. This has led to a set of requirements for the civils packages based on assumptions for the systems packages. For example, we've made an assumption on the loading of the floors so that M400 can design and build the floors that then become an input to the M500 design. As the work progresses, interfaces will initially be managed by MetroLink because M500 won't be on board. Once they are on board, there will be an ongoing interface between 400 and 500 to ensure effective delivery. However, the basis of delivery is that we'll all be self-certified and self-assured. There will be an independent certifier or independent checking engineer for M500 because that's a different contractual arrangement. We will be relying on you to deliver your work to the appropriate quality and standard. We are not prescribing methodologies. We're not going to tell you how to build. You are the experts, that's why you're being engaged. In practice, that means that M400 will be building the stuff in red, M500 will come along and fill it in. In its simplest summary, what is actually in the red is down to the contractors and the designers. Lisa will elaborate further in her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Obviously, a lot of food for thought there on how to use original thinking and keep Dublin moving through what is going to be a very challenging and very important project. Our final speaker for this morning has more than 20 years of experience in the construction industry with dual qualifications in civil engineering and in construction law, bringing expertise and experience in the procurement and delivery of major programmes across rail, aviation and water sectors, including programme delivery of Melbourne Water. Will you please welcome the Head of Commercial Policy for MetroLink, Lisa Reynolds.
Thank you, Anton, and good morning, everyone. Today, I will bring you through how we will procure MetroLink. As Sean said, we know that success will come through collaboration. We're committed to working in an open and transparent way with you, and that starts right now. Through our procurement process, we want to identify and partner with the right people and organisations, those with the capability, problem-solving skills and expertise to deliver this programme. Organisations who share our values and who will work collaboratively with us and each other to deliver MetroLink successfully. I'm now going to address the procurement of the business case benefits, the packaging strategy, the contracting strategy, and finally, the route to market for the programme. So firstly, the big picture. How are we going to ensure we deliver the business case for MetroLink? This is our programme balance scorecard, the business case on a page, or for today on the screen. The balance scorecard illustrates what we want to achieve and what we're all working towards. In essence, we deliver these things and the benefits of MetroLink will be realised. The balance scorecard has few but powerful words in these boxes, providing the guardrails that will keep us on course. Behind them are policies, strategies, requirements, evaluation criteria, KPIs and metrics that will guide delivery and hold us accountable. We have configured the scorecard to align with the triple bottom line sustainability model, the social, environmental and economic pillars. This is a clear and simple way of setting out what is important. So taking an example from each of the pillars, starting with our social pillar. Being a good neighbour is incredibly important to us. We have worked closely with our local residents, businesses, community groups and stakeholders over a number of years now. It is important to us that we continue to build, enhance and maintain strong relations with them, minimising disruption in their daily lives where possible, particularly during construction. Under our environmental pillar, carbon reduction is a key critical success factor that is central to MetroLink's vision and Ireland's climate commitments. Under our economic pillar, working collaboratively will be central to the success of MetroLink. We have interfaces to manage and coordinate between each of our contracts, so we are particularly interested in partnering with organisations that will work collaboratively with Transport Infrastructure Ireland and each other to deliver MetroLink. I'll share more detail on this later in the presentation. The packaging strategy for MetroLink is an aggregated one. Each package is critical to the successful delivery of the programme, from our enabling packages through to the Railway Service Delivery Partner package. We commence the delivery of MetroLink with our enabling packages. These range from site clearance and specialist heritage works to utility diversions and heavy civils works. Each enabling works package is of significant value and are critical packages in their own right. They help us achieve a level of site readiness that supports efficient mobilisation of the main civils contracts. Following on from the enabling works, the main civils works will commence. We have the M401 southern section running from Charlemont in the south of the city through to Northwood. This includes 9.6 kilometres of tunnelling and 10 deep underground stations. The M402 northern section runs from Northwood through to Estuary. This section is approximately 10 kilometres in length and includes 6 stations and tunnel works under Dublin Airport. We initially considered a third M403 civils package. However, this is now merged into the M402 following feedback from previous market engagements. The M400 contracts will deliver the shell and core station boxes, tunnels and infrastructure, paving the way for the M500 Railway Service Delivery Partner contract. The Railway Service Delivery Partner will deliver all the railway systems, rolling stock, tunnel and station fit-outs, and will operate and maintain the network for 25 years. They will also fulfil the role of railway organisation. In short, the M500 Railway Service Delivery Partner will design, build, finance, operate and maintain everything listed on the screen. This package also has the added benefit that MetroLink is a standalone system. As it's Ireland's first metro, we don't have the added complexity of integrating with an existing system. The MetroLink packaging structure seeks to minimise the number of contract interfaces and interdependencies. We have combined all of the systems that are integral to the GOA4 railway system, wrapping the integration risk within the Railway Service Delivery Partner contract. This allocates the whole life cycle risk from design and installation through to operations and maintenance with the Railway Service Delivery Partner. I've covered quite a bit of information about the MetroLink packages, so just to reiterate, the tenders you can expect to see on e-tenders and the official journal of the EU, or OJU, in the coming months are a number of enabling packages, 2 main civil packages, M401 and M402, and the M500 Railway Service Delivery Partner package. Next, I will talk you through the contracting strategy. It is important that we develop a suite of contracts that are based on market standards and internationally recognised. We have worked hard to offer contracts with risk allocation that is equitable and sustainable. The suite of contracts we are using includes NEC4 contracts for the main civils contracts and some of the enabling packages, a DBFOM for the M500 Railway Service Delivery Partner contract, and public works contracts where applicable. For example, the conditions of engagement for archaeology services. For the civils contract, we have chosen NEC4 Option C, a cost-based contract model seeking a target price. As you know, this form of contract is commonly used on heavy civil engineering projects and complex tunnelling projects. It will allow us to work collaboratively with our civils contractors and in turn support the delivery of the Railway Service Delivery Partner contract. It gives us the flexibility to manage and minimise the impact of change on the DBFOM M500 contract. We will maintain the principles of NEC 4 Option C and make only those amendments we believe are essential to the circumstances of MetroLink and those required in order to comply with Irish legislation and regulations. The M500 contract is based on PPP market terms and will be an availability-based contract. It uses a proven payment mechanism and will also include authority capital contributions during the works and early phase of operations. We believe these contracts will be attractive to you, including those of you who are not currently operating in the Irish market. As you will understand from today, there are a number of complex interfaces between the main civils contracts and the railway service delivery partner, as well as interfaces with the enabling works packages. For this reason, we have developed the MetroLink Cooperation Agreement. This will promote cooperation and coordination between the MetroLink contractors with support from Transport Infrastructure Ireland. These contracting principles and approaches are all captured in the MetroLink commercial policy, which will be published shortly. I'm now going to walk you through the route to market, the procurement processes for each of the M100, 400 and 500 contracts. As I mentioned, the M100 enabling contracts are critical to the efficient mobilisation and progression of the M4 and 500 contracts. We will procure M100 works and services in line with the utilities regulations, using a range of procedures including open, restricted and negotiated procedure with prior call for competition. We will award frameworks and contracts and establish qualification systems. The first of these, the Archaeology Qualification System contract notice, was published at the start of August. The pre-qualification documents are available on e-tenders and OJU, and this qualification system is open for interested parties. Remaining contract notices are expected to be issued through Q4 2025. The M400 civils contracts will be procured under the utilities regulations using the negotiated procedure with prior call for competition. Let's take a look at how we have structured this. These are two major contracts, and we want to make the procurement processes as efficient as possible for everyone. To achieve this, we will issue one contract notice covering two lots, the M401 and the M402. The tender award is based on the most economically advantageous tender, and ultimately, through the pre-qualification, we will identify and shortlist tenderers that are the fittest to supply, those that evidence the best problem-solving and technical capability. Tendering will then only be done by organisations we know have the experience to deliver the contracts. Invitations to tender will be issued to the shortlisted tenderers. Organisations can apply for both lots, be shortlisted for both lots, but will be restricted to winning one M400 lot. This restriction does not extend to the M500 competition. If you are successful and win one of the M400 contracts, you can still participate in the M500 competition. Unlike the M400 route to market, the M500 contract will be procured under EU Regulation 1370 for public passenger transport services. It will be a multi-stage tender process, the pre-qualification followed by an invitation to tender. The ITT stage will include dialogue with shortlisted tenderers on technical and commercial matters. The dialogue process will be used to develop the tenderer's proposal, and a preferred tender will be determined based on the most economically advantageous tender. To enable integration as early as possible between the parties, we would award an early services agreement to the preferred tenderer. This will allow for management and resolution of interfaces ahead of the financial close and mobilisation of the successful M500 entity. You can see on screen the anticipated tender milestone dates which are subject to the receipt of the railway order. The M400 contract notice will be issued on February 3rd next year, and will include the M401 and M402 lots. The invitations to negotiate will be issued in Q2 2026, followed by anticipated contract award in Q2 2027. The M500 Railway Service Delivery Partner competition will also commence on 3rd of February 2026, followed by the ITT in Q2 2026. The preferred tender will be identified in Q2 2027, with financial close expected to occur in Q2 2028. In addition to our works packages, we will shortly issue a contract notice on e-tenders and the OJU to procure a programme delivery partner through an open procedure. That brings us to how to participate and engage with MetroLink. These procurement opportunities will be posted on e-tenders and the official journal, and you will find our most up-to-date programme information on the MetroLink website at metrolink.ie. We have just launched our new supply chain section, where we will publish our balanced scorecard and commercial policy. Finally, it is our intention to establish a brokerage system to connect buyers and suppliers. Our SME sectors are critical to the delivery of MetroLink. We will establish this platform to support SMEs in participating in MetroLink opportunities. More information will be on our website in due course. In summary, the 4 main areas I have covered that are relevant to you here today are the balanced scorecard, the packaging strategy, the contracting strategy, and finally, the route to market for the programme. To reiterate what Sean opened with, this is a mega project for Ireland, and it is our ambition to work collaboratively with you. We will be fair, open, and transparent in our interactions, run efficient processes, be a client of choice and easy to do business with, and a client that values long-term relationships built on trust, mutual respect, and shared success. We are ready to engage with you and look forward to meeting many of you after the presentation. Thank you.